I work for Catalyst for Social Action. It is a not-for-profit organization that has been working for the developmental, social, mental and physical needs of children in institutional care and young adults. Today I am going to speak to Justice BN Srikrishna, Indian jurist and retired judge of the Supreme Court on the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection Act. So sir, it's been 9 years since the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection Act has been enforced. It's a fairly new legislation. Can you explain to our viewers why was there a need to bring this in?
We are all parties to a UN treaty, UN resolution rather, which says that every member state should take special care of children and protect their rights. Now, protection of the rights of children is a compendious word which will include so many things. Now, you could have things like, their adoption, their foster care, or when children get into conflict with law, as the expression goes. In the sense, when the child does something which would otherwise be a crime, the child can't be subjected to the same laws and same punishments. So there has to be some kind of a different law. Originally, the IPC did a peculiar thing. It said anybody who is less than a particular age, he is deemed to be incapable of crime, so he could never have been committed to any kind of punishment at all. It was therefore necessary to come out with different jurisprudence to deal with juveniles, in the sense people who are below the age of majority, which is 18 years, and who are capable of understanding the consequences of what they do. This became all the more important after the Nirbhaya case. In the Nirbhaya case, one of the accused was 17 years when he committed the crime. Therefore, how do you deal with such situations? Therefore, an amendment was necessary in 2015. The law made it clear that in the case of persons who are 17 and less than 18, if they know what the consequences of what they are doing is, if they are capable of knowing it, then they should be tried like adults. So, and a whole lot of situations where there is a child in conflict with law. Now, what do you do with him? You can't simply put him in lockup. Therefore, a whole machinery had to be devised. So the law has taken care of that. They said that there should be a juvenile justice board which will consist of specified persons which will be appointed by the government from time to time, which will have people who are social workers, people who are well qualified in law, people who are accustomed to child care, and they will take a call on what needs to be done further with child. And in any case, there is no question of putting the child in police custody or in regular jails. So there is a special machinery that is evolved which takes care of them, and there is a special method of trying those people, and if they are found guilty, then what should be done with them is also decided by the law. And therefore it was absolutely necessary to have a particular structured law which deals with juveniles. That is why the necessity of the law.
So sir, do you think it has achieved its objectives?
That is a $1 million question. Now, if it had really achieved its objective, at every street corner you would not have found children begging, because one of the things is children who have no support from family, or whose family is incapable of supporting them, or children who are found begging and doing mischievous things on the street. All of them need to be dealt with by the law. If the law had been fully implemented in the spirit in which it has been enacted, we would not have found this at all. That when you stop at a traffic signal, don't we have small kids going around begging? So does it show that the act has been fully implemented? There is your answer.
So can you elaborate the importance of rehabilitation and reintegration as far as this act is concerned?
See, there is a special machinery involved. They will be put in some kind of homes where of course their daily sustenance will be taken care of, and they will be subjected to psychological evaluation by experts in the field. And then constantly given advice. And finally, if it is found that it is possible to get rid of that they are normal human beings which are not likely to again go back, revert into criminal acts, then you may find that you will have to find some kind of a foster home for them, where there will be a good family which will take care of the child and bring it up for as a natural human being, as a loved member of the family. And there also social workers will constantly evaluate the progress made and then ensure that the child will get rid of its tendency to fall back into crime or criminal activity and grow up as a normal human being into adulthood. That is the purpose of that is the philosophy behind the act, and that is the purpose of the whole machinery that the act has evolved.
Right. So do you think adequate measures are being taken to rehabilitate the children?
That is something that I am unable to answer, because this will require fact finding. I have no access to the facts. Now, the social workers who are in the field will be able to go into the data on this and then take a call on that.
Right. So, sir, having said that, what would you say are the challenges that one faces to implement these things?
Challenges are prompt appointment of the required personnel in a juvenile justice board, ensuring that the juvenile justice board acts promptly in every matter which comes to its notice, and then where it is necessary to have it done through a magistrate, there is a provision for that. That is also promptly done. And more than all that, the mindset, the police and the public must get into their mind that these are not, hardened criminals who are to be dealt with. These are really like buds who cannot be immediately nipped, but who have to be allowed to foster, to ensure that they are not continuing with this kind of criminal or antisocial behavior. The object is to wean them away from antisocial behavior and turn them into normal social adults.
Can you explain what is the role that all the stakeholders play?
Let's say there's a child of 12 or 13 who is found committing a theft. Kid goes and steals a handful of chocolates or a loaf of bread. The shopkeeper holds him, catches hold of him, and then beats him up. The public gathers, they beat him up, catch him by the scruff of his neck, and then take him to the nearest police station. What do the police do there? Use the danda on him, push him into the lockup. Now, do they really follow the law that is there? The law is that he should immediately be taken before the Juvenile Justice Authority, and who must evaluate the situation and appropriately decide who is to take care of him. The law says he should never be put in a police lockup. He should never be put in a jail where the adults are there. Now, has this mindset changed? If the mindset does not change, the law being on the statute book is of no use.
And what about the role of other stakeholders like the government, the NGOs?
One must act like an evolved democracy. Now, as a democracy which is sworn to act in accordance with the rule of law, we are members of the UN Convention on Children's Rights. Because we are members there and there is an obligation, international obligation, we have enacted this law. Therefore, it behoves us as citizens, us as government officials, us as courts, us as Juvenile Justice Board, to ensure that this law is implemented in its full spirit. The spirit is the children's rights should be protected, and at the same time, you should not permit these kind of nefarious tendencies to grow in the child.
What do you think is the role of the judiciary in interpreting the law?
Judiciary is bound by the act. At least with the judiciary, there can't be an exception. The moment it is seen that the accused who is brought before the judge is less than the cutoff year of 18, then he has to deal with it according to the Juvenile Justice Act. He has no choice in the matter.
Do you think we need to also take steps to create more awareness around this act?
Yes, yes, that is correct. That is one of the duties of the board itself. One of the obligations of the board is to spread this thought that these are children who are to be dealt with in accordance with a special provision of law which protects their right and their childhood instead of being subjected to the harsh realities of the criminal law. Now, this is something that has to be done by the social activists generally, by the people who are part of the board, and that is their duty.
So, what would you say are the factors that lead to an increase in the children in conflict with law?
There are several factors. One may be purely economic, an inability to get proper food. The other may be lack of education. Because unless you have a sense of right and wrong, you can't distinguish. There may be also peer pressure, just like how children take to smoking. Children may undertake to pickpocketing or stealing something. Or there can be the influence of cinema. That is possible. The influence of elders on them, either in their own society, in their own family, or neighbors, or relatives, whom they hold as figures of admiration, saying that he can do all this and become a rich man. Why not I try that? These are the various temptations that come in the way of the child.
Other than education, nutrition, hygiene, sanitation, what are the other things you think should be provided to a child in these homes?
Education is the biggest thing that can be provided. Of course, you have to make sure that the child eats and sleeps and is clothed. Look, a child who has been educated with the rights and wrongs from a childhood will grow out to be a normal adult and useful to society. Because it is this ability to distinguish between what is right and wrong which has to be instilled into the psyche of the child. And for some reason the child has been deprived of that. Maybe the social circumstances, maybe lack of education, maybe lack of economic facilities, whatever. It is the duty of society through the machinery evolved under the Juvenile Justice Act and even otherwise to bring back the child into this focus. It's like a train which has gone off the patri and you must bring back the train onto the patri. That should be the idea.
Do you think we need any amendments in the current form of the law?
I would rather say implement the act in the spirit in which it has been acted for a time, and then if there is an amendment needed, you make the amendment. The amendment of 2015 was interesting because there came a borderline case where somebody who was in the company of adults and he was almost an adult but yet not technically an adult, what do you do with it? So that kind of an amendment is all right. It's a case situation which has been analyzed. And when we come across such case situation, the law can take an amendment. Otherwise, at this point of time, what is amendment of what?
Is there anything else you would like to say, sir?
That we are very long in making laws, very short in their implementation, whichever law you take. And Juvenile Justice Act is no exception to that shortcoming. That's all that I can say.